And we're live. Yeah, so I have my car in the shop. Live Drive Jive Archive, 29th of June 2021, year of the Delta variant. So you can clearly see now that these asshats in society aren't going to let go of this shit. They have stumbled onto, in their minds, what they see to be the greatest thing since sliced bread. The COVID pandemic is well underway. Certain nations really taking advantage of the serf population and pushing all kinds of BS. So fuck your goovies, fuck your Dr. Fakey. When's that motherfucker gonna go before a tribunal for his involvement in weaponizing these things? It's just not even real. Fuck it, who cares? So in one of the Dallas Classics, they talk about how being among people of self-cultivation is a great pleasure, and being among the uncultivated is extremely difficult. Now, some may think of education being one of the key factors in cultivation, but it's not. And I'll illustrate what I mean by that. Educated idiots abound. And education system in and of itself does not necessarily bring about cultivation or self-cultivation. Those of self-cultivation are of a refinement of character and dulling their own sharpness, as Lao Tzu writes in the Tao Te Ching. They're not cutting and injurious to others. Yet those of education are forever engaging in skeptical analysis of things they cannot perceive, doubtful of spirit, and engage in intellectual dichotomy. Spiritual nature is wholeness, not chopping things up into analytical bits. Education oftentimes leads to a prejudice of spirit. And really a greater level of intolerance. Those who deem themselves as the intelligentsia seem to have the least amount of tolerance for alternate paradigms and viewpoints. I see this all the time, a lot. Whereas those of cultivation, even if not necessarily very highly educated, have a refinement of character that is beneficial to themselves and others. I cruise around the world and interact with different kinds of people on all different kinds of levels. Yesterday's a prime example. The principal and vice principal both walked by as I was sitting out in front of my class, and I don't know which is which, I forget, but one of them greeted me with a smile and by name. Now, both of these gentlemen are of a comparable educated level. And one of them greeted me by name and a smile. Hey, Chris, hello, how are you? And another one walked by with a pinched face, like someone had waved a spoonful of hot cat shit under his nose. And the self, the ego self, may interpret that as, like with the first guy, you feel a little bit of elation. You're like, oh, that's great, you know, interacting with a cultivated gentleman. And then in the second instance, the self feels this, like, good God, brother, what the fuck? Did someone just wave a spoonful of hot cat shit under your nose? What does that look for? But the difference is, the first gentleman is a man of cultivation, self-cultivation. He feels the buoyancy of living and thus expresses that like sunshine. The second gentleman is engaged in intellectual dichotomy. He's struggling with an analytical paradigm of not knowing, of doubting and questioning, rather than just going with the flow. Another example, same type of thing. Now, this is all on the discursive level because I cannot perceive directly into these gentlemen's minds. But it shows the truth. There is an expression of truth in the appearance and reaction of people. Another set of gentlemen I observed later on were not highly educated men. They were janitors, guys that, you know, sweep the floor. And one of them walks by in abject horror and suffering with a grimace on his face, avoiding eye contact. Really bearing the burden of the self. And I think, yeah, all right, you know, he's at the bottom of the totem pole, scraping up gum, hosing down toilets. I feel your pain. And then another janitor, same level, same situation, walks by, lusty smile. This guy's got his shirt, top 2 or 3 buttons of his shirt open. He's got a little cool breeze blowing in the shirt. He's sweating, going bald. missing teeth, but he walks by and he's whistling and smiling, and he looks at me and he's trying to practice his English. He's like, hello, hello, you know, and they're chances are they're both of the same level of education, but the difference in the level of personal cultivation is lifetimes apart. So my recommendation for you, I mean just for people in general, be that easygoing, smiling beam of sunshine in the world. Don't be that, well, be whatever you want to be, but the difference is like night and day. The difference in the style of management is the wolf and the eagle, as a Redskin at a powwow once told me. A savage. He was a Native American Indian. You know, this type of fella. Hatchet in hand, feather sticking out of the cap. And he told me there's two styles of management of leadership and resources. One is the wolf. Wolf style, runs around savage, growling at everyone, barking orders out. And the other animals fall in line and are organized due to their fear and loathing of the wolf. The other style of management is that of like the eagle, the phoenix, soars high within the sky, beautiful, wings outstretched, grace, lofty ambition, unconcerned with anyone else. And all the other birds look up in adoration of the great eagle, miles up in the sky. And the other eagles, the other birds, strive towards this type of awesomeness, not because of fear and loathing, but because of love and longing and adoration. So I think that TP totin', Sioux groping, savage scalper Indian brother with his hatchet at the powwow, that Redskin that told me that, I think he knows something. I think he knows what he's talking about. Be the eagle, my friends, and let freedom reign from sea to shining sea. I love y'all good-looking, sexy people out in Happy Land. As above, into the abodes of the future. Until next time, 再见 for now.